We'll talk about a lot of tenants. It's called Ugland House, but there's nothing ugly about it. It stands on South Church Street in Georgetown, down in the Cayman Islands. Now, what sets it apart isn't its architecture, it's the tenants. The tenants, more than 18,000 corporations, have their headquarters in this one little building, making it one of the world's biggest tax havens of all. Tonight, we power rank these places where corporations can hide while the feds go seek with Julie Satow of the New York Sun. It's the front page piece. Here it is, Julie's article. Senate panel will probe a tax haven. 18,800 businesses in that one little house?
Yeah.
Well, clearly there's some funny business going on.
Exactly.
We'll get to that in a second. But number 5 on our list is Bermuda.
Yeah.
We love Bermuda.
Yeah. It's Tyco has its place there. A lot of people love the beach. Obviously, it looks very beautiful. A lot of companies, but actually not good for individuals. It actually, I think the minimum property tax you pay if you're a non-Bermudian and you live there is $15,000 a year. So
that's it.
Well. It's pretty expensive.
It is. But again, it is a tax haven. Number 4, Cook Islands.
Yes.
I don't even know where. I guess they're in Asia, right?
Yes, exactly. Not as popular with American companies, but certainly a huge haven. You can actually get residency there, so that makes it quite.
And investors pay no income tax. They pay no capital gains tax, no death tax. Forget about it. You're there. You're tax free.
It's a great deal.
All right. Number 3. The little country of Liechtenstein in Europe. You can barely see it on a map.
Yeah.
But it's there, and it's primarily there as a tax haven.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting case. It looks like it's changing now. The Germans paid a spy, like an informer, millions of dollars actually to investigate their citizens. And Liechtenstein now has a warrant out for the informer's arrest, so they're trying to get him. And America's also investigating this. There's a California billionaire who supposedly money laundered $200 million there.
So that things might change there. All right.
Exactly.
Number 2, not the American Virgin Islands, but the British Virgin Islands, like Tortola and others.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually probably the biggest. There's about 500,000 companies that are registered there. It's a great deal.
Tell me again.
500,000
100,000. If you've ever been to the British, I've been to Tortola before.
Yeah.
It's impossible to imagine more than maybe 100,000 people on the island.
Right. Well, obviously, they don't really have the presence there. They're just registered. They have no reporting. Pretty much, they don't have to report anything, companies that are registered there. So
it's a great deal for the companies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Number 1, we started and we're going to end with the Cayman Islands.
Yes, the Cayman Islands. That is the favored place for all the hedge funds that we see. There's, in this one building, as we said, 18,857 companies are registered there. It's actually just a law firm that's the tenant, but it's a very stable place. They do have rules more than in other places, more than in the BVI, for example. So there is some reporting that gets done, but there are no taxes, and it makes for a very good deal for companies.
But 600 offshore banks. Now, we know there is some serious business here. It's not all fun and games because terrorists very often move money through these subterranean banking accounts and so forth. So when it comes to reporting standards of banks, if there is not an openness of reporting, if all of these tax havens continue to exist, we may have trouble tracking down the bad guys.
It's true. We do have deals with them. We have a deal with the Cayman Islands government for sharing some information, but it could definitely be better. And today the Senate had a big hearing, and they were very down on the IRS for not doing more about this. So.
Now, if in fact tax rates go way up, as some people are proposing, I mean, even who knows? Even if McCain is president, he may be unable to resist the temptation to raise tax rates. Are we going to see more of this as companies try to avoid paying higher taxes?
Definitely. I think that makes sense. But you should also know there's a lot of legitimate things that go on there. I mean, the U.S. government has some affiliates that they do things there. And pension funds, for example, if you're tax exempt or if you're a charity, you can't invest in hedge funds in America. Otherwise, you get taxed for capital gains. So they go there often. So all of that is totally acceptable. So it's not a...
So even under the best tax circumstances for a business here in the United States, we still probably would be better off having these tax havens.
I mean, it would be better if we could investigate it more and there was more transparency, for sure.
You're never going to have a world without tax havens. The funny thing is that the U.S. is a tax haven for a lot of countries that have much higher taxes.
There's one building in Wilmington, Delaware, where there's more than 200,000 companies are registered.
Remember Ingmar Bergman, the famous Swedish director who had to flee his country because taxes were so onerous in Sweden.
So, I mean, we do the same thing and we benefit also. So,
Julie Satow from the New York Sun. Great to see you, Julie. Thanks very much.